In chapter 2 out of your book, and this is related to module 2, there is a section in there, or most of chapter 2 has to do with going from proposal to research product. So for you, in this program, this is what it is. This is Dissertation and Practice Handbook. And this is going to be your Bible for how we move from a proposal to a final product. In theory, this answers all of the questions about what your experience will be in completing this dissertation. I want to post this in module 2, but there's some things I want to go through on this. So this explains the purpose of the dissertation and practice. That it is a capstone experience. It is replacing a traditional dissertation in that as you know, that you're working on a research problem with a school district. And the rationale for that is we want to give you the experience of going through problem solving with a school district. We want you to have something that is more practical. And you're going to need to take some time to read through this. There's a brief description of what it is. So basically, there's 4 chapters to that dissertation practice. There's an introduction that describes the problem or opportunity to be addressed. The review of literature, which is, as you know, is something that we're working on right now. That doesn't mean you're going to be done with the review of literature by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, this is the basis of it. There's an implementation and action plan of the dissertation and practice, which is who are you working with? Who is the population that is going to be affected by this? What are you going to do with them? How are you going to know whether or not you've made an impact on that? Chapter 4 is the impact and implications, meaning, okay, now that you're done, what is the data that we gather from that? And what does that mean? What does it mean for you in terms of your future practice, for you and your future research, and for the participants within the program, or the participants in the school district? In this process, of course, this is years down the road, you will have to get this idea approved, work through it. You'll have dissertation for 3 semesters, and in the final semester of your dissertation, you'll do a presentation where this gets approved. So as you work through this, you see a more in-depth look of this dissertation and practice. Some key questions that come out of chapter 1 in terms of trying to set the background for it. Chapter 2 is the lit review. We're starting this now, and we'll continue to build on that throughout the program. And there's 2 things that you're doing. Is you're naming and framing the problem, and also developing change ideas. You're doing research in the lit review about what has been done, what worked, and what didn't work. Chapter 3 is, there's actually subsections to this. There's a description of the setting and participants. There is the action plan, that is, what is it that you're going to do. The 3rd section is how you're going to collect the data. The 4th section is analysis and understanding, meaning what tools, analytic tools are you going to use to do that. 4th section, or 4th chapter, again, is divided into sections about the data table and analysis, reflection of results, a narrative that explains, the narratives in that explains what all that means, and then the context of it. So I'm going to show you an overview of that as well. So this is kind of a framework for what you're doing, and I'll provide this to you as well. And actually, you probably have seen this before, I think, in one of the other videos. So what I just described to you is these pieces of it. What we're worried about right now is this review of literature. So the other things is dissertation practice, capstone, proposal, defense. That happens at the end of the program. This is the course overview, and this is, you can see where it says DIP. These are the or we're working on pieces of this dissertation in practice. The capstone proposal and hearing, when everybody's taken this course through that summer, that's where I think Dr. Cunha will probably be teaching this course, and you will go through the process of formalizing your capstone proposal, which means chapters 1 through 3, and having your committee approve that. And once you're approved, then you are released to enroll in dissertation, and you'll work closely with your committee chair to go through that. So a good portion of this stuff has to do, it's much further down the line. It's just I wanted you to be able to have a framework for what to expect, because that is what chapter 2 is about in your book. So there's some things in here about the defense, how it's organized, etc. So it's a lot of information. And as we talk through some more of this, we're going to learn a lot about what you need to be done. There's some things in here about grades, about how you get grades in dissertation, graduation requirements, dissemination of work, glossary of terms. And this is the kind of a checklist for being able to make sure that all of the sections have what they're supposed to. So that's something for you to look at in your spare time. And if you have questions about that, we can talk about that on Friday.